Every unforgettable moment from the 2026 NBA All-Star Game explained. Before we begin, picture this. It's February 2026. The NBA has finally stopped tinkering around the edges and gone all in on reinventing its most scrutinized event. What you're about to read is a detailed scenario, a realistic projection of how the league's boldest all-star format could play out, based on the current trajectory of the NBA's biggest stars, the confirmed construction of the Intuit Dome, and the league's publicly stated desire to make the mid-season showcase matter again. This isn't a recap, it's a blueprint for what the All-Star Game could become, and why it might finally work. The NBA tried something completely different. For years, the NBA All-Star Game had a problem everyone could see. Players coasting up the court, minimal defense, inflated scores, and fans tuning out well before the final buzzer. The league tried tweaking the format multiple times. The Elam ending, the draft-style teams, the target score, but nothing quite stuck. Then in February 2026, at the brand new Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California, the NBA rolled out its most ambitious overhaul yet. The traditional game was replaced with a three-team round-robin mini-tournament. 25 All-Stars were divided into USA Stars, made up of younger American players, USA Stripes, featuring veteran Americans, and Team World, composed of international players. The competition featured four 12-minute games, with a $1.8 million prize pool designed to give players a real reason to compete. The structure was simple. Winner takes all. Each player on the championship team stood to earn $125,000, while second and third place walked away empty-handed. That zero-sum setup changed the math on every possession. What followed over the course of that All-Star Sunday was a night that actually delivered competitive basketball. Buzzer beaters, defensive intensity, and moments that felt like they genuinely mattered. Here are 9 of the most unforgettable moments from the weekend, and why they changed the conversation about what the All-Star Game could be. Moment 1. Victor Wembanyama sets a defensive tone that surprised everyone before the first game between USA Stars and Team World even settled into a rhythm. Victor Wembanyama made a choice that shifted the energy of the entire evening. The 7'4" Spurs star came out playing defense with a level of intensity rarely seen in an exhibition setting. His 8-foot wingspan was on full display, contesting shots, altering angles, and making fellow All-Stars visibly uncomfortable in the paint. What made this stand out wasn't just the effort itself, but the ripple effect it created. Anthony Edwards, who went on to earn MVP honors, credited Wembanyama specifically for setting the competitive tone. When a player of Wembanyama's caliber decides to bring that kind of energy to an All-Star game, it gives everyone else on the floor unspoken permission to actually compete. His Team World squad was ultimately eliminated from the tournament, a result few predicted given the international roster's star power. But the impact he made on the night's intensity was acknowledged by players and commentators alike. It was the kind of moment that didn't show up on the final stat sheet, but shaped everything that followed. Moment 2. Scottie Barnes delivers an overtime game winner in Game 1. The opening game of the new format needed to prove a concept, that this tournament structure could generate real tension. Game 1 between USA Stars and Team World delivered beyond what anyone expected. The two teams were locked in a tight, physical contest that extended into overtime, finishing 37-35 in favor of USA Stars. In a game decided by just 2 points after extra time, it was Scottie Barnes who provided the decisive moment, knocking down a game-winning three-pointer to seal it for the younger American squad. For Barnes, who had been steadily building his reputation as one of the league's most versatile young players, the shot was a statement on the biggest possible stage. But the bigger takeaway was what the game itself represented. A 2-point overtime finish in an All-Star game, with players actually contesting shots and fighting for rebounds, that alone was enough to make fans reconsider everything they thought they knew about this event. The NBA's gamble on the new format found its first real validation in those 12 minutes of basketball. Moment 3. De'Aaron Fox hits a buzzer-beating 3 to win Game 2. If Game 1 validated the format, Game 2 made it feel like appointment viewing. USA Stripes, the veteran American squad, faced off against the younger USA Stars in a matchup that featured tight back-and-forth play throughout. With the game on the line in the final seconds, De'Aaron Fox, one of the fastest players in the league, rose up and drilled a buzzer-beating three-pointer to give USA Stripes a 42-40 victory. The Intuit Dome crowd erupted. Fox had been building toward a moment like this for years, and the All-Star stage gave him the platform to deliver one of the most electric finishes of the entire tournament. His buzzer beater wasn't just a highlight, it was proof that in a compressed 12-minute format with real money on the line, every possession carries weight. The new structure was producing the kind of finishes the traditional All-Star game had been missing for years. Moment 4. Kawhi Leonard erupts for 31 points in 12 minutes. Then came Game 3, and Kawhi Leonard reminded everyone why his nickname is The Claw. Playing in front of his home crowd at the Intuit Dome, the Clippers' new arena, Leonard scored 31 points in just 12 minutes of play, leading USA Stripes to a 48-45 victory over Team World and officially eliminating the international squad from the tournament. On paper, Team World had no business losing this early. Their roster featured several of the last 5 league MVPs, a collection of talent that would dominate most hypothetical matchups on sheer ability alone. But the round-robin format exposed something that regular season standings can't measure: chemistry. The international stars, assembled from different teams, conferences, and playing styles, never found a cohesive rhythm. The American squads, while also thrown together, shared a common basketball language and competitive familiarity that gave them an edge in a format where every minute counted. Leonard exploited that disorganization ruthlessly. He was hitting from everywhere: step-back threes, mid-range pull-ups, drives to the basket, with the kind of efficiency that made it look effortless. For a player whose career narrative has been shaped as much by injuries and load management as by his undeniable talent, this 12-minute window was a powerful reminder of what Leonard looks like when he's fully locked in. Playing in his building in front of fans who had waited for exactly this kind of moment, Leonard delivered a performance that became the signature highlight of the night: 31 points in 12 minutes in an All-Star game. That's the kind of line that stops you mid-scroll. Moment 5. The young stars run away with a championship game. After 3 consecutive games defined by close finishes and clutch shots, the championship game between USA Stars and USA Stripes was expected to be the crown jewel of the evening. Instead, it turned into a one-sided affair. USA Stars defeated USA Stripes 47-21, with the younger squad shooting 60.6% from the field, while the veteran team struggled to keep pace. The explanation was straightforward. The Stripes had just played 3 consecutive, high-intensity 12-minute games, while the Stars were comparatively fresher. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard, who had just poured in 31 points in the previous game, were visibly gassed. Some critics called the final anticlimactic, pointing to the fatigue imbalance as a structural flaw the league will need to address in future iterations. But there was another way to read the moment. The younger generation of American stars, Edwards, Barnes, Maxey, Cunningham, didn't just win. They dominated. Whether it was the energy gap, the talent gap, or some combination of both, the championship game felt like a passing of the guard moment that resonated well beyond the final score. Moment 6. Anthony Edwards takes home All-Star Game MVP. Anthony Edwards was built for stages like this. Across his 3 games in the tournament, Edwards totaled 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists, leading USA Stars to the championship and earning All-Star Game MVP honors. What stood out about Edwards wasn't just the production. It was the way he carried himself throughout the night. He brought explosive energy on both ends of the floor, attacking the rim with the kind of fearlessness that has defined his career since entering the league. Edwards had already been establishing himself as one of the most dynamic players in the NBA during the regular season, and the All-Star MVP added another chapter to a career that seems to be accelerating with each passing year. When the trophy was presented, there was little debate. Edwards had been the most impactful player on the most successful team, and the award reflected that cleanly. For the Minnesota Timberwolves star, it was another milestone in what's shaping up to be one of the most compelling career trajectories in the current NBA. Moment 7. Damian Lillard wins the three-point contest while sidelined with injury. Saturday night produced its own headline moment, and it belonged to Damian Lillard. Here's what made it remarkable. Lillard was sidelined from regular season play at the time due to a calf injury. He wasn't suiting up for the Milwaukee Bucks in games that counted, and yet he entered the three-point contest and walked away with the title, defeating Devin Booker in the final round with a score of 29. Perhaps the most talked-about detail wasn't the shooting itself, but what Lillard chose to wear. A Portland Trail Blazers jersey, a tribute to the franchise where he spent the first decade-plus of his career and built his legacy as one of the most clutch performers in NBA history. It was his third career three-point contest title, further cementing his place among the premier shooters the league has ever seen. The image of an injured Lillard wearing the jersey of his former team, casually outdueling active all-stars in a shooting competition, became one of the most shared moments of the entire weekend. It captured everything fans love about Dame: the confidence, the loyalty, and the ability to deliver when the spotlight is brightest, regardless of the circumstances. Moment 8. The Intuit Dome announces itself as the NBA's premier arena. The 2026 All-Star Weekend served a dual purpose. It was both a showcase for the league's new format and a high-profile debut for the Intuit Dome, the Clippers' $2 billion arena that had positioned itself as the most technologically advanced venue in the NBA. The centerpiece of the fan experience is the Wall, 51 consecutive rows of uninterrupted seating designed to amplify crowd noise and create a fortress-like atmosphere. Above the court hangs the Halo board, a massive scoreboard featuring over 230 million LEDs, with interactive technology that reacts to the crowd's volume in real time. Even the small details signaled the arena's forward-thinking philosophy. Every seat includes USB-C charging ports, and the building was designed with sustainability at its core. It is powered by an on-site solar array and battery storage system aimed at carbon-neutral operations from day one. The building delivered when it mattered most. During Barnes' game winner, Fox's buzzer beater, and Leonard's 31-point eruption, the atmosphere inside the dome fed directly into the action on the floor, creating a feedback loop between crowd and competition that the old format, played in cavernous, half-engaged arenas, rarely achieved. Moment 9. The Slam Dunk Contest sparks a debate. The AT&T Slam Dunk Contest was won by Keshad Johnson of the Miami Heat, but the event told a more complicated story than the final result suggested. Johnson took the title, yet much of the post-game conversation centered on what the contest lacked rather than what it delivered. Critics pointed to a perceived absence of star power among the contestants and a slate of dunks that, while athletic, didn't push creative boundaries the way fans have come to expect from the event's greatest moments. The exception was Carter Bryant, the Spurs' high-flying rookie sensation, who recorded the only perfect 50 score of the night on a dunk that briefly made the crowd forget its complaints. Bryant's moment hinted at the kind of raw athleticism that could anchor future contests, but on this night, it wasn't quite enough to carry the event as a whole. The dunk contest has been cycling through an identity crisis for years, caught between nostalgia for its iconic past and the reality that many of the league's most explosive athletes declined to participate. The 2026 edition added another chapter to that ongoing tension, leaving fans divided on whether the event needs a format overhaul of its own or simply better headliners.